homework that's due Tuesday. So, I mean, you can take a look at it and then it'll help you out with all the rest of them. But this number 3 was kind of tricky. They kind of added something in there, and I just wanted to throw that in there and help y'all out with it real quick. Hold on, wait a minute. So give me a second here. I should be sharing my screen. Share screen. All right. So that, we can do that next or some other time. Let's talk about your homework right here. All right, good. So number 3, did anybody happen to catch, well, Denise, we talked about it earlier, but there was a little trick that they threw in there on number 3 when they were saying for you to do the regular, to solve for the regular trig ratio. But what you notice here is that the hypotenuse is missing. All right, so with the hypotenuse missing, what you have to end up doing is using the Pythagorean theorem, which we covered in class a while back. And I remember that we used the Pythagorean theorem. Remember, it was telling you that in any right triangle, that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? So where am I using? I forgot that I had this. So it was telling us that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? So if you look here, let's say we'll just call this side A, this side B, and we know that the hypotenuse is always the longest side, so it's b squared. So that means that you gotta have 6 squared plus 8 squared, and then that's gonna equal whatever that missing side is, and we'll call it c squared. All right, so somebody tell me what's 6 squared to the 7th power.
36.
6 is correct. So, yeah, this becomes 36. Hold on. Yep. And then the 8 squared becomes 64. And then all of that's going to equal the c squared that we have down here. So what do you have? 36 plus 64. When you add those two together, what do you get? When I get 36 plus 64, what do I get?
100.
Yep. So you'll have 100 squared, but that does not, a mistake, this is what we're going back over. Remember when you sent in your homework earlier? Yeah, that you put 100 here and you went and solved it, but remember this was squared. So what you end up having to do is that you have to take both sides and unsquare it on both sides. Now that's what we're looking for, and then what is the square root of 100?
10.
So now that is what that missing side is equal to, and now it becomes 10. So now we can go ahead and regularly solve and complete our trig ratios. So we can just go ahead and knock out these 6 real quick for y'all, and then y'all go ahead and move on. So if we're looking at A, we'll do A in purple, we'll do B in blue, and then we'll do C in green. So if A is there, here's B, and then we got our C over here. So let's start with the sign of A. All right, so at the sign of A, and if you already have it complete, just go ahead and check your homework. You'll be already set for the weekend. If I have the sign of A, oh, you know what I should have put back up here? Let me pull the notes back up. 1 second. I got them here. Where did I put them? Where did I put them? Give me 1 second here. That should be able to help you out. There we go. All right. So remember our trig functions that was right here. Can y'all see that, or was my chat stuff in the way? Shouldn't be.
It's good.
Right. So remember, when we're looking for the sign, remember the sign is just whatever is opposite, whatever the variable we're looking for. So opposite of sine of A would be what? It's going to be a fraction.
It's gonna be 6/10.
6/10. Hold on, where's the now it's this one. No, it's this one. Shrink this to that part. Move this over here. Perfect. All right, perfect. Now we on the sine of B. All right, so what should be my sine of B?
8/10.
Makes you think that. Oh, you know what? Let me go ahead and take it another step further for y'all while I got it. If I'm looking for the sine of A, maybe they'll give us 6/10, but give it to me in a simplified version. What would be the correct answer for that in a simplified version? 6/10.
Is it 4?
Nah, it'll be what? Simplify this down. Not 6/10, it'll be what? Because your answer choices are going to be in
6/10 simplified.
Yeah, 6/10 simplified.
According to online calculator, what is 6/10 simplified?
Somebody over there cheating. Busted. Yeah, Steffi, you correct. 3/5. Divide top and bottoms by 2. Divide top and bottoms by 2, your answer becomes 3/5. So it'll be, if you see 3/5 is what in your answers, that's what it should be. So here with the sine of B.
It's 5 o'clock.
Okay, with the sine of B, with it being opposite over our hypotenuse, you'll get 8/10, but what is the simplified version of it? What would it be simplified? The sine of B, what is it simplified? Hello?
4/5.
Yeah, 4/5. Did you get that or did you ask your Siri?
I asked my Siri.
Nah, you gotta chill. You ain't gonna be able to bring Siri on the test now. Anyway, we back to A. So now we got the cosine of A. And remember from cosine, and our cosine over here is just whatever.
That's so crazy, no cap.
Yeah, it's whatever is adjacent over our hypotenuse. So in our A here, what's adjacent on A? Good, Steffi, 4/5. It becomes 8/10, which simplifies down to 4/5. It's good. Yeah. Then you have cosine of B. What's your cosine of B, V? Oh, that sounds funny. What is the answer for cosine of B?
6/10.
6, nope.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse.
I'm asking for the cosine of B, but I need it in simplified version. Because if you were to put it in, it'll tell you no. So what's the cosine of B? Adjacent of a hypotenuse. It'll say close. You know when I have y'all do con and it says it's the answer is close, but you need to do what to 6/10?
Oh, we got simplified on Khan Academy too.
Say it again.
So
correct, Steffi. She got it before y'all on that one.
3/5.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing as A, so of course she was like.
Yeah, I know, but remember that you got to simplify it down. I'm just telling you, each time, like next week when we get into it, we're going to start going degrees. All right, so you'll see that you can't just shortcut it. You got to speak the King's language. So you got to get in the habit of simplifying, because if you start seeing fractions out there, it'll throw you off. So here on the last one, we got a tangent of A. All right, the tangent of A. Now remember, if you give it to me in unsimplified version, I'm going to say, nah. What is the tangent of A? Simplified. The tangent of A. Remember, that's going your opposite side over your adjacent side.
That's 6/8.
What's the correct answer? Correct. Nope, Steffi, that's wrong. Not 3/5. Oh no,
3/4.
3/4.
3/4. Remember, 8 is divided by 2 is 3/4. And then that last one, the tangent of B. Tangent of B is the last one. That was a tangent of A, Steffi. Tangent of A was opposite over adjacent 6 over A, which was 3/4. Now we're looking for the tangent of B. What's the tangent of
8/6.
which is what?
4/3.
Yeah.
That just flip. Yeah.
Make sure you do that because then we're gonna go because there's other ratios when I try to tell you like there's another set. You'll see this is only just we're scratching the surface. I don't want to get too far into it, but this is really going to help out in the future. Maybe like in another year or two, you'll be like, oh, okay, I see what Richard was talking about. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That was I think was the hardest one off of your homework. So if you knocked out number 3, number 1 and 2 is a walk in the park. From the homework here, which one did y'all want to see while y'all got me? From the homework, you got 13, 14, 15, and 16. Which one, or 13 through 18? Which one did y'all want to see? I got time for one.
You can do 16.
16, we'll knock it down.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 16. Let me see. Cosine of Z. All right, bet. So here we got a real slim, and this is really good for I'll say for like seamstress and people that do like fashion designs. When you got to start designing clothes, you got to get the correct angles and different things correct. You don't want to develop something and be one side too long on the wrong side, and then you got somebody going to prom or putting on a dress looking crazy because the measurements were incorrect. So here on this mini triangle, you had a right triangle with 41, 40, and 9 are the measurements. They want to know what's the cosine of Z. What's the cosine of Z? And Z is right here. This should be easy money. They want to know what's the cosine of Z. That should be easy. Give it to me in simplified form if there needs to be one. But what's the cosine of C? Of Z, sorry. Cosine of Z.
Is it 9/40?
Is that 16 we're looking at?
No, we're looking at 16.
Yeah.
9.
No, it's
Isn't
9/41.
Over 41, yeah.
What's the adjacent side here? The adjacent side is 9 because that's the same side as Z. 9.
9/41.
Your hypotenuse is always right across from your right angle box. So yeah, don't be tricked. Your answer was 9/41. That's a good job. I still don't understand. What you don't understand? Give me a question. We'll do another one. First one, do you understand these notes, Steffi? Take a look. Let me run it down through you before we do another one. If I have, say, in all of these triangles right here, you see that you have an X. You have 3 measurements.
Oh my God.
Right over there, the longest side is always our hypotenuse in every triangle, the longest side. So if wherever the X could be in either one or 2 positions, all right, that's where it's going to be at. So let's say if it's over here, you're just readjusting whatever the measurements are telling you or the ratios are telling you to do based off of the position of the X. So if it's sine of X, wherever it's at, you're always going to go opposite of wherever that X is at over the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always going to be the same in every one. So if they ask for the sine of X, it's always going to be opposite. So in that case, it's 15. Cosine, if it's on the same line, will be 40. You just got to know that it's on the same line. Give me a question from the homework. Let's talk about it. What number?
18.
Who is that?
Me. This year.
No. Steffi is texting saying she doesn't understand.
Oh, I just thought. Okay.
I'm trying to tell her to either speak on it or what number do you want to see, Stephanie, from the homework? You got to tell me. Number 2. All right. So that must be from the first one. All right. Number 2. Where did I do it? All right, there it is. No, that's not it. Who's got the measurements for number 2? I don't have it up here on my screen. Oh, yeah, I do. Sorry. Whoops. All right, Steffi. Now look. We're going to do this row first. Let me draw it up here for you. We're going to do sine, cosine, and tangent of each one. So, boom. Here's our triangle. And then remember, our hypotenuse is always directly across from the right angle box. So you should already know what your hypotenuse is. Let's say we'll do D in that color. This is E. And then that'll be F here. And then you just got simple measurements. 12. Now remember, we're going to do these. They got to be simplified, y'all. 12, 20, and 16. And then in the first one, they want to know the sine of D. Let me make that better. This should be a better 16. So, boom, where we at? D, sine of D. Steffi, either does your microphone work, Steph? This would work a lot better if your mic worked. Because I don't think they can see what you're typing. But if I got the sine of D, or you're going to have to type to me really fast.
Can anybody say it?
Hold on, I'm trying to see if she could get on her mic, because she's the one that asked the question, but her
Okay.
mic is working. Your mic up, Steffi?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. If I got the sine of D, what's opposite of D in this case here? Well, first off, time out. It's sine of D is opposite over hypotenuse. What's going to be the hypotenuse? You already know. What should be the hypotenuse in this?
20.
20. So that's going to always be in your denominator. So you already know that 20 is going to be in the denominator. That's the hypotenuse. So now we just need to figure out, based off of the notes that we got down here, what's opposite of D? What number is opposite of D? What side is opposite of D?
Is it 16?
Yeah, so you 16 over 20. So, but I need that simplified. So what's my correct answer? Now that anybody can jump in. Now that we got a mic ready. What should be 16 over 20?
8 over 10.
Go a little further. Go back by 2. It's a number that goes, there's a factor that's a little larger than 2 that can go both.
4 over 5.
Over 5.
The correct answer would be 4 over 5. Nice work. Boom, we got the breeze. Cosine of D now. What will be the cosine of D? Cosine, remember cosine? Adjacent over hypotenuse. So what goes in the denominator?
Is it 12 over 20?
Cosine of D, okay, your adjacent side is 12. And then like we say, the hypotenuse is always 20. Now you just got to simplify it. What is it simplified?
3 over 5.
3 over 5 is good money. Then I got my tangent of D, which is just the opposite over the adjacent side. So what's the opposite over the adjacent? Opposite over adjacent. Opposite over adjacent.
16 over 12?
Yep, 16 over 12, but you need to simplify it. Simplify it to what?
4/3?
Fine. Good work. Now, on the other side of that, all you got is these, the sine of E. So now we on E. Y'all don't mess around and hustle a second question out of me. This was a tough one. So if I got the sine of E, now remember Steffi, and because I think you only one that's struggling on this one. I know Denise is good money on it, and Zulie's pretty good. Alec, how you feeling on this? You pretty good on this one?
Yeah.
Who else we got up in here? We had somebody on here that was just in here. No matter, we about to slide. Sine of E. This one here is the opposite over the hypotenuse. So we already know what the hypotenuse is. What is the hypotenuse already? It's
20.
It's always going to be 20. So what is the opposite of E?
12.
What is it simplified?
3/5.
3/5. Nice, Zuli. Cosine of E. You already know 20 in the denominator because it's a hypotenuse. You just need what's adjacent to E. Don't be fooled.
16.
16/20.
That's simplified.
4/5.
Mhm. If you notice, there's a pattern here. And then when y'all see next week, when we go a little further step into this, you'll start to see what these patterns mean. Tangent of E. Opposite.
12 over 16.
Yeah, 12/16. A lot of people get the tangent confused because they'll just get lazy to keep putting the hypotenuse, but we need to simplify.
3/4.
3/4.
Y'all got this one pretty good y'all pretty good on the sides. Now what you'll notice next week, what we're going to go into, if you look here on the screen, you'll start to see next week we're going to start going into what you'll start seeing is they'll put like a degree in here. All right. And what we got to start, I'll start showing you how to find the degree measurements of each one. These are now, what we did was to figure out how you did the sides. But what we're going to do is we're going to need a calculator next week, and we're going to start punching in some numbers to start figuring out what the degree measurements of the angle sides is. You're still going to use these same trig ratios to find out what these degree measurements are. But we'll have to start getting into angles and degrees. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So next week, we'll definitely talk about it. Y'all be safe this weekend. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people gonna have family time and stuff. Make sure that y'all keep your mask and gloves and wash your butt. Good job.
Mr. Wicker,
Any questions from me? What's happening?
I never got the 2 and the 3. Like, I never got the paper for that.
For 2 and 3, you never got the paper for.
Yeah, you know how you send the picture of the homework? I never got those questions.
You gotta
I
open.
only got 13 through 18.
Yeah, it's in there. You just gotta click. If you look into the, I think it's attached to the video, but I'll resend it again tonight. So don't worry about it.
Okay. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Anybody else got any questions? Alec, I need send me the Cash App so I can send that over to you right now. Because Zuli already sent me hers. Zuli, you got yours yesterday, right?
Yeah, I got it.
Alex, send that over to me so I can send that to you now.
All right.
I'll probably kick off with some more contests next week and all that too. So I got to think of some more competitive games. I got my thinking team ready. All right, y'all. I'll see y'all. I think we start back. We have to go back into the building next week, so we're gonna try to put something together. We'll see.
All right, yo.
All right. Send that to me, Alec.
All right. I will.